Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the FBL-Zone. My name is Dominic and I'm your co-host.
And I'm your other co-host, Vivika. And we're joined by three lovely guests today who'll now introduce themselves.
Okay, hi everyone. My name's Aishu. I'm currently chapter president of FBLA at Lambert High School, and I'm really excited to be here today.
Hi guys, I'm Allyson Kim, and I'm Lambert FBLA's Vice President of Competition, and I'm so excited to be here and honored to be a part of this podcast.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam Covey, and I am on the service committee for Lambert FBLA's high school chapter. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so glad that y'all are joining us. So just to break the ice, how's everything been going? Tell us about anything interesting that or anything good that's happened this week. How's school going? Anything? Yeah.
We had the PSAT today and we're off tomorrow, so that's nice.
I got my license today.
You did?
Congratulations!
It's shocking.
You can drive me around now.
I have no car.
Oh,
license, no car.
I wish I had school off because Florida does not have school off, but hey, it's good that you got your license. I literally haven't even got my permit yet because I'm a 2008 kid, so.
Oh,
wow. Sorry, you can go.
Okay, so our first question is, describe how long you've participated in FBLA and any accomplishments awards or recognition that you've had.
Okay, great. So I'm currently a junior in high school and I've been part of FBLA since 6th grade. So this is my 6th year being a member. I've also been an officer all 6 of these years. I guess my biggest accomplishment would probably be becoming chapter president of Lambert FBLA. And also this past summer, Sam and I, she was my partner, we placed at Nationals second for our event. First time placing at Nationals, that was great. That's also my most significant FBLA memory, I want to say.
That's great. And then
Yeah, so hi, my name is Allyson again, and I have been a part of FBLA since my freshman year, so 3 years now. And I want to say the same thing kind of along the lines of Aishu. My biggest accomplishment would definitely, 1, be a part of this officer team, and 2, placing at Nationals in both Chicago and Atlanta.
and then I am a sophomore, and I've been in FBLA since 6th grade, so it's been 4 years? 4 years, yes. It's been 4 years. And like Aishu said, I think one of my biggest accomplishments was definitely placing at NLC. We placed second, so that was really, really exciting. We low-key were not expecting it, but it was good. It was awesome.
That is just so awesome to hear. I know that with Lambert FBLA y'all prepare really, really, really hard for your events, and you guys always just sweep away the awards at state. So I'm really glad that y'all have been able to make these really huge accomplishments. And I remember while I was at closing ceremony of NLC, I saw y'all on stage and I was like, y'all go. I was just so proud, especially Allyson. I made a video of you on stage and sent it to you afterwards. But yeah, it was it's just so cool to hear about how, just ask a follow-up question, how was it being on stage at Nationals?
Okay, so when, how they pre-call the top 10, right? So as soon as they pre-called, I guess I should start with when the finals results dropped. So I was I was coming in and out of NLC because it was in Atlanta, and Sam was down at the park when they said that finals results were going to come out, and I was back at the hotel with some of my friends in the food court, and the system crashed because it was overloaded with everyone. We were refreshing over and over, finals results, where are they? And my phone just was not working, so I went over to a table of kids who I barely knew. I was like, can I see the finals results off of one of y'all's phones? And Sam calls me and she's like, don't check, we want to check together. And I was like, that's not happening, I'm checking right now, And then it took 20 minutes. We finally figured out that we made finals. That was amazing. That was so exciting. And then we spent the rest of the day preparing. And then the next day at awards ceremony that evening, when they pre-called, you know, we were like so excited. We didn't know where to go. We finally found where the stage was. And back there, I'm like texting everyone, oh my God, I'm about to go on national stage. This is so exciting. And we're up there, and every time, because they start from 10th and then they go to first, every time they call someone, we look at each other and we're like, no way, like we're still standing up here. And then they finally called second. And then I think we were both in shock for a little bit. It was like, we just won nationals. And then we walked off and we kind of sat there calmly and recovered a little bit, and then went to go get pizza after. So that was kind of the whole spiral.
I don't think it hit until like a good 2 weeks after.
Yeah. And I was like, we're national champions. Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah, so I only did testing events at nationals, so I never got the thrill of like, oh, I made finals, because normally for nationals, if you make final round, then there's a high chance you place. So for testing events, you kind of just find out on the spot, and that's normally how my experience has been for the past 2 years. And I do want to say, like, whenever I'm on stage for FBLA, the light just shines on you so bright that you cannot see anything, and you're just like stuck there standing there, and then my mind just kind of goes blank. I don't think about anything. If I hear like the name calls, I only just hear my name and I just go up. So I want to say it's kind of something similar to Sam. Like, it only hits like after, when you're on stage, like at that moment it doesn't really feel like anything, but it's honestly amazing when you come down from the stage and you go back to your friends and they're all like, oh, congrats. Like, I think that's my favorite part of like conferences, placing.
I 100% agree. Like, I felt the same, like Allyson, I felt the same sensation at state. Like, when that was my first time, well, second time, if not counting middle school, that was my first time getting on stage at state. And like, when my mind like was so blank. Like, I was just like staring. There was like no thought behind these eyes. Like, I was just like staring into the distance. And when I heard second place, like, I literally got up and I started like running to grab my medal. And the same thing happened at nationals when I was like called for a BAA capstone. And I was just so shocked because I couldn't believe that, like, you know, all this hard work and whatnot had paid off. And I would like definitely say that like standing on stage is one of like the best feelings ever, because you worked hard and, you know, you got your award. Vivika, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, so I was just gonna say, like, the first time I ever made it to nationals, I was in like 7th grade. That was when we were online, and so I think like one of the biggest things I regret is not getting that like moment where you just like feel it, like you're like the energy is there, like on stage. Because I was online, so the only way like I found out I won was through like a video that got released. But I think it's so cool just being in the moment and like feeling all the energy and all the nerves at the same time. I think that's just so fun.
Absolutely. So for our next question, how is it like managing a large chapter as yours? Because if I'm not mistaken, Lambert FBLA is one of the largest chapters in Georgia and the world as well.
Yeah, that is true. Us and a couple other Forsyth County schools have been in the top 3 rankings for member count over the past few years. Being at a chapter this large, I'm not gonna lie, I only knew like how significant the size of our chapter was when I became an officer, because when you enter a school as big as Lambert, where you need just 8 minutes to transition between classes, everything just seems massive. So FBLA was just another one of those things. But being part of the officer team, what's great is that you get to really work behind the scenes with these numbers. And becoming president, one of my first concerns was like, in junior year, how am I gonna manage a team of 20 officers as well as a chapter of over 500 members? Because that's a pretty big task, I would say. Honestly, having a team like we do this year has been a huge part of this. They're literally the backbone of FBLA. Like, I've got incredible VPs, incredible officers. Everyone steps up, does their part. And obviously our advisors are great and know what they're doing too. The biggest thing with managing a chapter this big is that as much of like as the tasks increase, it also means that you get to meet more people, get to interact one-on-one with a lot of variety of different types of members. And that's honestly made the experience so much more valuable in being an officer, because you get to meet people you never would have met otherwise that are all connected by this one overarching club.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work, and I'm a part of the competition committee, so we kind of oversee competition registration and all that good stuff. And then so right now we're preparing for RLC, and it's hard to make sure every member knows what they're doing and that they are properly taken care of. And I do want to say something kind of negative about having a member count this big is that we can't help as many people as we want on a personal level. Yes, we can have a meeting that like speaks to everyone, but it's hard to get, have a one-on-one conversation with most members. And I think that's something that we're trying to work on this year, is just to build a more personal relationship with our FBLA members.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, a shout out to like Allyson and Aishu and all of our VPs, because they do so much work and they really keep our chapter together. Like, honestly, having them like helping us and like managing all of everyone else on like the officer team is just so crucial. And I think the way that we have our officer team with like VPs and then other people like working under them is definitely helps us like manage this chapter, right? Because when you have like 500 people, you need a lot of people to like get everything together. And with all the different parts of FBLA, like competition and like membership and BAAs, you need different committees for all of those things. So I feel like having the right structure is also really important for managing a large chapter.
I can totally relate with Allyson on like the personal connection level, because so we don't have 500 members, but we do have like over 200. So being from like a big chapter in FBLA, I totally relate with that. And just like this thing Sam said about structure, because we have so many committees. Like we have a committee just for club day, and then we have a committee just for fundraising, and the list goes on. So I totally relate with that.
See, TBH, I can't relate with like any of y'all, because I come from a little small chapter down in the boonies of South Georgia. But I remember back in middle school, actually, our chapter was about 200 members. It was about 200 members, and I remember being an officer, and I totally get what like y'all are saying about not being able to form a connection, a personal connection with people, with members, with like a chapter size this big. But I do want to say that it's just like, it's so amazing how y'all are able to sort through 500 members like on your like with your entire team and make things run smoothly, and also be able to rack up as many awards as y'all do. I think that's like really incredible. And yeah, pretty much like it's I wish that I had like the commitment and time management to be able to run a chapter that's as large as Lambert and Strawberry Crest is. So I definitely want to give my flowers to y'all because of that.
And then our next question, besides how like the number of members that you guys have, because that's already unique, but what is something unique about your chapter?
Okay, there's a lot of little things that when you meet people from other chapters, you realize that they do, and sometimes our officers will come back after a trip and they'll be like, yo, I heard that they do this, we should do it too. And so we've tried to integrate a lot of these things over the year. Something that I think that the advisors at Lambert have really set in stone is, like Allyson and Sam were talking about, is the structure of the officer team. A couple years ago when I was a freshman serving as an officer, we were really divided. I still don't even know half the people who were on the team. It's just kind of like everyone had their own role and everyone did their own thing. We didn't talk at meetings. It was just like, we were there, we went over the tasks, and we went on to our own lives. We didn't even have a group chat back then. And then last year we made this committee setup that Sam brought up, and then we kind of fully established it this year, which I think is something that's going to carry over into the next few years of Lambert FBLA. So we have the executive president and vice president, and then 4 committees: competition, which Allyson heads, service, which Sam is part of, and then membership and media. Kevin's VP of the media committee, actually. And so getting to work with each of these committees and just solely focusing on that skill set, I think is something different about Lambert FBLA in the past couple of years that has really helped us. Like, the Instagram has grown incredibly in the past 2 years. When I started running the Instagram last year, we were a little under 700 followers, and now we're the most followed chapter in Georgia with over 1,200, I think. And then competition, the results going up this much. Service, getting to partner with other clubs at Lambert. Like, we recently just finished partnering with Blessings in a Backpack. And we held a huge service drive. I was talking to the advisor of Blessings in a Backpack, and he said that we raised over 800 individual packets of food that they were able to give to less fortunate students over at the local elementary schools. And then with the membership committee, the member count breaking not only Lambert's record, but Georgia FBLA's record in the past 2 years. All of these things have happened after we changed the setup of the officer team. So I think that's something that has really helped make Lambert FBLA unique.
Yeah, something we get complimented on a lot is like our relationship and of the officer team. And a lot of people have come up to us and be like, "Oh, it's so cool that you guys are like friends," and we've even been called like family. And so it's really like heartwarming to know that people are like see us as this close-knit team. And I think it's also it makes the club more enjoyable, and we want to do our work for FBLA simply because you don't want to disappoint your other like friends and like them, and it kind of just makes the entire how do I say this, entire feel and entire like, guys, I'm blinking. Okay, moving on.
Aura. Yeah, I feel like something really special about Lambert FBLA is that we like to work with a lot of other clubs. Like, we're not just FBLA, we're like a part of Lambert, I feel like. Like, if you look at it, we work with a bunch of different clubs. Like, recently, I think it was last month, we held like a CTSO fest with like DECA and HOSA and a bunch of other like CTSOs. And it was really nice because we weren't just talking about like business kids now, we were talking about kids from like a bunch of other fields. And it was so nice like interacting with them. Like, I personally love meeting people from a bunch of new fields, and the way we like connect with other clubs and work with them is just something really, really nice that we do.
Yes, I can definitely attest to that. Like, one of the things that I like, one of the things like I personally believe is unique about your chapter is how y'all are like just so close as a family, that as a group of friends, and how that like brings y'all together to the point that from that your energy to others is also welcoming. Like at nationals, I was the only one from my chapter to go, so I just like was mostly hanging around my friends that I met from state, and one of them was one of your officers, Neil. And so like while I was like hanging out with him and I went to the food court, I sat with your chapter, and like y'all were just genuinely like so welcoming, and that just like made me realize that in order for one of the reasons as to why I've become more comfortable with networking and it's become an integral part of me was realizing that people aren't necessarily going to judge you for everything that you do. And Lambert FBLA was one of the main chapters that showed me that. And it also taught from those interactions at nationals and at state, it also taught me that in order to be able to be comfortable with everybody else at conferences, you first need to develop a connection with your chapter to be able to do that, because the energy that you get from those that hang around you heavily impacts the energy that you'll give to others.
And I mean, I can tell that you guys are so well established. Just like Aishu like listing out all like the accomplishments this year after you guys changed the structure, I was like, wait, that's so good. And also, like, when you guys came on, you've just been like talking to each other like you guys were friends, and like I could just tell. And like I've never met you guys before, so I could just tell through the screen. And also, I remember like one of the first conversations I had with Dominic, just like talking to him about Georgia FBLA overall, and the Lambert FBLA always came up. I think you guys are you're doing such good things for your chapter, and it's so evident. So, and then oh yeah, Dominic, do you want to ask the next one?
Yeah. So what is the integral key to recruiting members and keeping them engaged? This question has to do with your membership count.
Okay, so last year I served as VP of Media, and then we worked pretty closely with the membership committee, and now I oversee them, and they essentially handle a bulk of the recruiting, and then media does like the posts end of it on Instagram. So the biggest thing that I think would honestly be the member point system that we've set up. That the intent of setting up that member point system was to keep members involved throughout the year. So it was kind of like this last year, but we got it more established this year. Essentially, members have to earn 10 points over the course of the year, and membership tracks this entire process. And those 10 points can't just be 10 generic points. They have to be from specific categories. Let me see if I can list this off the top of my head. So they need 3 chapter meeting attendance points. So from August to February before SLC, you need to go to at least 3 of the monthly meetings out of 7. You have to do 2 levels of any FBLA programs. That can be from the BAAs, CSAs, or 1 from each. minimally. And then you have to have one chapter contribution point that could come from recruiting members, attending something that the chapter runs like CTSO Fest, or from helping with the state project. You need 2 service credit points, something like attending our Chipotle night or donating to Blessings in a Backpack. And you need to attend 2 competition workshops to help you prepare for our RLC or SLC, just everything before SLC. And then we tally these points on March 1st and we put them out. And if you've reached those 10 points, then you'll be allowed to attend SLC. And this is major incentive for members because Lambert FBLA's biggest event is SLC. We take over 100 people each year to that conference. And so requiring these points over the year means that members have to do these things throughout the year and they stay involved and they say, well, I know I want to get to SLC. It's not that hard to get these points, but I can't just join last minute and be like, oh, I'm going to go. Like I actually have to put in the effort to compete and participate in service, because we always preach that like FBLA is not just competition or resume. It's a mix of service and community and networking and all of these things put together. And we try to voice that to members through this as well.
Yeah, so in addition to the member point system, I definitely think incentivizing members to come to meetings and to come to the competition prep sessions are really important. Like we try to get a snack or candy or like donuts for our chapter meetings for people to be incentivized to come. And as for like retaining membership and involvement, I would say, I know Aishu said like FBLA is more than just competition, and obviously it is. It's like a whole community. But I think one of the main reasons why members join is to compete. And so I think being able to give out resources for competitions, like this year the competition committee is actually a really new committee this year. And then so what we're trying to do is give out competition workshops and resources and really help our members place this year. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have such a big and great member retention.
Yeah, and focusing really on the service aspect, members join FBLA for opportunities. So we have to give them our opportunities, like that is our role. And I think a really great way of doing that is providing them with service opportunities, like giving members the opportunity to like go volunteer or go donate something or go help run something. Like giving members the opportunity to be like active in their community is so key to like keeping them engaged, giving them something to do, feel like they're contributing, making Lambert FBLA what it is. So to keep members happy, to keep members like engaged and like active and whatnot, I feel like it's really important to give them opportunities, and a great way to do that is through service.
I love
sorry. You go. I'm sorry.
I love what Aishu said about like the chapter point system. I mean member point system, because we just started doing that this year. Fingers crossed it goes well. But I really like the idea of having like an end goal with like something that they want to achieve, something that they want to attend, like SLC, because it's such a big event for Florida. Like SLC is like one of the biggest things we look forward to at the end of the year. And then just like what Sam said about like giving them the opportunities, and I totally agree with that. So
absolutely. Like I love what Allyson said about the incentives. I believe that about like keeping members incentivized through like food and whatnot. Because I remember back in my middle school chapter, one of the reasons why we had 200 members, which was like unlike any other CTSO at my school besides FFA, because again, I'm from down south in the boonies, is because like when you have snacks at meetings, well, my old FBLA advisor, middle school advisor, she would have like food, like she would have 2 churros, which is basically Chipotle, but in my town, and like pizza or like Chick-fil-A, and that would just like attract members every meeting. And I also like really love what Sam said about community service, like keeping members incentivized through like service, because one of the things that students at my school really want is community service hours, whether it be for boards or for college. And my FBLA chapter is wants to. I'm co-chair of our service community, so we're just coming up with ideas for community service and just we're aiming to provide our members with community service ideas. So I just like really love that. So for our last question, it's been so fun having y'all here, but unfortunately we have almost reached the end of our interview. But describe your favorite FBLA memory or moment from this past membership year, or anything that you'd like to share.
Okay, well, we already talked about like the accomplishments end of it. So I guess just memory in general, one of my favorite ones is from the summer after ninth grade, Chicago NLC. It was because our last NLC was in Atlanta. It was like an hour away. It was kind of like whatever. We felt like we were home. But Chicago was the first, I think, 5-day, 4-night trip away from home with just friends. And they decided to put us on a bus to get up to Chicago from Georgia. So it was a 14-hour bus ride in the night. I learned a lot about truck stops and things that I hadn't before. And I remember we would literally be brushing our teeth in fast food restaurants because of like the way the bus ride was structured. So whether we wanted to or not, the people in my grade on that trip, that at that time it was Allyson, Shield, Kevin, Karani, and I, all of us were just kind of forced to become friends, get closer than we already were, and we were stuck with each other for the bulk of the trip, and I grew to love them so much. They're still the officers on the team that I serve with today. We've all known each other since middle school, but that trip specifically was like, they ended up feeling like family to me. And on that trip specifically, Kevin and I really wanted to bike ride. And so we ended up just telling the lift company that we were 18, took those bikes out. And I don't know if that's illegal or not. It's fine. We took the bikes out and we biked around the bike trail that they had that was around Lake Michigan. And it was so pretty. It was like the beach and we were biking around the whole lake and we would go past the pier and stuff. And we just did that for like an hour on the lift bikes. And I have never forgotten that. I tell Kevin all the time. I'm like, do you remember when we just took bikes and rode around Lake Michigan? It's one of my favorite things that I've ever done. And I just correlate it with FBLA completely.
Mine is also definitely the Chicago NLC. As Aishu said, that was like my first time like leaving home, I guess, without my family. And then Atlanta SLC was literally like an hour away. So we've all been there. But Chicago NLC, it was like, I realized how big FBLA was at that moment. Like it's different from hearing like, oh yeah, there's 200,000 members in FBLA, but seeing it in real life is also a really different experience and you feel like you're kind of a big deal. And this was my first time like being able to experience a new weather and location and scenery. So I really thank FBLA for that, for giving me that opportunity. But on more of like a local level, I want to say, last year we held our Chipotle night, and then the officers team literally stayed there from like 5 to 9 at Chipotle, and we had like a whole photo shoot over there. And now that I think back at it, it's like kind of embarrassing. Like you had a photo shoot at Chipotle, but at that moment it was just really like, felt really good because we just got really close in that moment. And then our former president Boomy, she's amazing. We all love her and we just all had a great time. And I think we all got really close from that one from that one event.
My favorite memory is also pretty local because I've actually never traveled for NLC or for any conference. So last year we held our first ever end of the year banquet, and it was so much fun, but it was also really chaotic to plan. But I think the chaoticness made it super fun because this is actually Aishu's idea. She'd been advocating it for a really long time, and we finally got to implement it last year. And like doing all the planning, like honestly, shout out to her for doing most of the planning, but like putting everything together, putting a presentation together, working with the advisors to like create a guest list, to have people sign up. Like that was just so much fun organizing stuff. And it's also kind of why we did intro to event planning because we like all loved event planning. But the point is, it was really fun organizing that and then making like decorating everything, having all the preparations, and then actually hosting the banquet. Like that was really exciting, and it was like such a nice way to like wrap up the year. It was so cute and like happy, and I don't know, it just made me so happy, like seeing everyone and all the seniors. Like wow, it was just awesome.
That sounds like such a wholesome moment. And last year was like the first year my school also hosted their first ever banquet. Since I've been in the school, but I'm only a sophomore. So, but it was just so much fun, and like handing out awards at the end of the year. And the little story about you, Allyson and Aishu at NLC is just so cute. I love how you guys like got stuck on the bus for that long. But that is really cute. And then just like, I don't know if that's legal or not, but the bike ride sounds really fun, as well as the Chipotle night.
Yes, I love like all the events that Lambert FBLA does that I see like through social media. Like your events just seem like a lot of fun and really engaging with the members. And I just want to like give you your flowers for that. I really wish I could have gone to Chicago NLC because it looked like so much fun. This NLC this year, no shade, it was so much fun. I loved it because it was my first NLC, but it just felt like SLC 2.0, like if I'm being real. But it was just I wish I could have gone to Chicago NLC, but South Forsyth Middle School and 8th Street Middle School beat me in business ethics, so unfortunately I wasn't able to go. But yeah, I'm like it was just so awesome being able to talk to y'all and get to know about your experiences and leading this huge but amazing chapter. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on to this podcast and being a part of the FBL Zone.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
This is really fun. Thank you. I've been looking forward to it.
You guys are such amazing interviewers. Like, shout out to y'all for running this.
No, it's a lot of work.
Shout out to Kevin too, even though he's getting his haircut right now.
Yeah.
I have Dominic to thank for this, for putting me on here as a co-host, but you guys were so much fun, and this was like, I'm like gonna remember this because it's my first FBL-Zone episode that I'm co-hosting, so.
Well, you were an awesome co-hoster.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here, and to the people that are viewing this right now, thank you so much for watching this. If you want to reach out to any of the people on this episode right now, their Instagrams will be tagged on this post. And thank you so much. We will be seeing you in the next episode. And yeah, bye.